All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. We bring in the Z Fold 5 and the Pixel Fold. Now, this is a discussion that some of you guys just want to discuss or you want to talk about it. But I personally, I feel like these are two great devices. They both serve the same purpose in a different way. They look different, they feel different, but both still are stellar in hardware and software. But there's some things that are just better on one and better on the other. And we're going to talk about that today. So let's start with what I would consider probably one that if you're a creator, you're concerned about this as the cameras. Now the cameras for me, for videography, video, anything video is better on the Z Fold 5. They now do 8K video. It has a UHD portrait video. The Pixel Fold is lacking. It doesn't have 8K video and it doesn't have portrait video. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. That just means that it doesn't have it. And for a creator, for a person who creates content with their devices sometimes, I want portrait video and I want 4K portrait video. The Fold now has it. If you don't know, the previous generation couldn't do that. It only did 1080p. The Pixel Fold, from my standpoint, needs to improve on video quality altogether. While it has great microphones for vlogs or whatever, it's just not measuring up to Samsung's phones. I'm not even going to say this phone. It's not measuring up to Samsung's devices. Now, I could record this video with an iPhone 14 Pro Max or an iPhone 13 Pro Max. I could even record it with the new Z Flip 5. And it still would have better quality than this Pixel Fold when it comes to the video quality, the way the video comes out. Google needs to work on the process. And it's crazy because they have AI down. They have their cameras dialed in for photos. But maybe video is just not their thing. I have shot video with the Pixel 7, the Pixel 6 Pro. I've shot lots of night video and it looks great. I've found that the Pixel devices pretty much are like iPhone devices for video recording in my experience. The lighting, the setting has to be flawless for it to actually come out the way I want it to come out. I have recorded video with this phone. I've recorded video with the 7 Pro, the 7. It looks phenomenal. But then when I put it against other devices, that is where I see the difference. And that is where I prefer Samsung's video quality over the Pixel's video quality. And then there's way more options on the cameras. There's a pro mode. There's just a lot more. There's nothing on the Pixel software that is just making it so great in comparison to Samsung's camera suite. It's just better. It's probably going to be like that for some time until Google realizes that we love your devices. We want to create with your devices. It has the enhanced voice and everything for vlogs, but if I'm doing a vlog, I have to be in the perfect lighting situation and it will be great. With Samsung, I really don't. I live in an area where it's always really windy, and you know, it cancels out the sound perfectly. They don't even really have like advanced software for vlogs on the Samsung, but it does in fact have the noise canceling microphones that really take charge on that. So Google not having the same type of deal is strange because you've got the same amount of microphones. You've got 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom, and then you got 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. You got the same amount of microphones, but the processing of the video is completely different. So with that said, Samsung is killing the game, not just on Google. They're killing Apple. They're killing everybody else. For the phones that I have and that I've personally used, Samsung's quality is always great. As a matter of fact, I always like to tell you what I'm recording with, and I decided to use the S23 Ultra again. This is just a killer device in so many ways. That is why it is easily coming up on phone of the year. We've only got a few more months or 4 more months or so, and I'm going to pick a phone this year. Didn't really pick one last year officially. I did. It was the Google Pixel 6a. But we're coming up on it, man. And honestly, you know, if the 7A had better video cameras, this would be the kill all be all Team Blue. You already know what it is. this would be the kill all be all for me. This phone can be phone of the year. It's just that it's, video is important to me. And I want a phone to be somewhat well-rounded when it comes to things. And, video is like one of the top things on my list when it comes to buying a very expensive phone at that. It better have great video cameras. Now, battery life. This is another place where Samsung does it better. It's more optimized. You can say it's a Snapdragon Gen 2, but Samsung, they skimped on it. They put out the same size battery, pretty much almost used the same body, made a few tweaks here and there. But overall, they were able to, that's that adhesive from the cases I'm using. They were able to get that battery dialed in. They were able to get the battery dialed in, and it just does it better than the Pixel's battery life. I'm on Android. The reason I'm getting great battery life on the Pixel Fold is because I'm on Android 14 beta. When I got this out of the box, I used it straight through for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then Gigi said, hey, 14 beta is out. And I was like, oh, shoot, I need to try it. And it drastically improved my battery. Period. Yeah, there's no, it made the Pixel's battery life better. But with that, though, now it's right on par with the Z Fold 5. But the Z Fold 5, the standby time on these are very close. The Fold is better standby time. The Pixel has is right there, but when you measure usage, I get more usage out of the Fold, even though these are close in standby time. Like the total time off the charger, I get more usage out of the Fold 5. You guys are going to say screen on time. So if you want to label it that way. You get a little bit more usage out of this device than you get in the Pixel Fold. So that's another area where the Fold 5, it does better than the Pixel Fold. So cameras, battery, I'm siding with the Z Fold 5. It definitely is way better in that sense, especially with cameras. But now let's talk about something that it's obvious is the hardware. And again, these things are subjective. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying that if you think the Pixel is better, you're wrong. That's not what it's about. Again, it's my perspective. A lot of people have asked my opinion on this, and I keep telling you, like it's just my opinion. It doesn't solidify anything. It doesn't make anything official for the world who has these devices. The fact is, a lot of people don't have both of these devices, and they only have one, so they're only seeing one side, and they're saying their side. I have them both, and I like to talk to people who have both, and the fact of the matter is that it's just subjective. I'm trying to be as objective as I can, but most things are subjective. It's just the personal preference of the person. But for hardware, again, it's personal preference. Now, ease of use, the Fold 5 is easier in the hand to hold because it's narrower. However, the form factor on the Pixel Fold is just better. This is a better design, which means you get two bigger displays, if you want to look at it that way, opposed to the displays that you might get on the Fold. You'd need to hold the Fold in this orientation to match the Pixel Fold. And, you're getting about the same thing, Now, one will look at the bezels on the Pixel Fold and say, oh, that looks horrible. It doesn't look horrible. I don't know how you guys let the media control you with the bezel conversation. That's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You need some bezels to hold on to. You need something. Yeah. But nonetheless, I like the design and how Google is handling the inner display and, the short stubby version, much easier in the hand to hold than the Fold 5 would ever be when it comes to like daily use of things. Like the hardware on here on both is phenomenal. I'll get to that in just a second. But like the design of the devices, how they're built, and like the overall footprint of them, it's a plus and a minus with both. Some might say this is too wide. Someone's going to say this is too narrow. But of the two, it's easy to recommend the Pixel Fold because you there's been times where I didn't even open the device, and I was like, oh shoot, I got a foldable, and this feels like I got a much bigger display when I open this up. You know, opposed to opening this, it doesn't feel like I have that big of a display. And you see why? It's the orientation. It's the way it's, again, you'd have to use this device in this orientation. Is my lock on or something? Rotation lock is on? How to rotate? Come on. Come on, buddy. Maybe I don't have screen rotation on for this. I don't know. But yeah, I'll get into it later. But yeah, you have to use the phone like this in order to get the same feel as the Pixel. It's the Pixel just does it better with this orientation. You know you're getting, like, putting two apps up. I'm gonna put two apps up. Let's get Instagram, and then we'll get Twitter or X. And this is just a better looking setup. It's just better. It's just better. It's just better over here. You get more, it appears, over here. It just doesn't look great elongated like this when you're running two apps. And some of you guys are gonna say, well, I can run four apps on the I can run four apps on the Samsung. I don't think a lot of people are running this many apps on the Samsung. I mean, it's just not. I don't know. It's not realistic to, because you end up getting a cramped screen. I don't even have to get into that. I don't even have to do it. You end up getting a cramped screen. So, you know, it's, again, personal preference, but this is way more usable. Just like it's more in line with what the Surface could have been. People laughed at this, saying, "Oh, you know, it looks stupid. It's two phones put together." This is a much better design than both of these designs, if you want me to be honest. The Surface is a much better design than both of these because it's super thin, even with the bumper on it. And you can go 360. They just needed to work out a lot of things with the hardware on here, and they thought they did it with the second generation, but they didn't impress me, and I didn't buy it. But hardware-wise, they both have a crease. You can see the crease in both of them. That's not even something that's bothering me anymore. What Samsung did is they made the phone thinner, they shrunk the hinge, and they made it close flat. Something that should have done, I mean, when you think about this now, again, this is Google's first attempt. This is Samsung's fifth attempt. So when you think about this is something Samsung should have done to begin with. But they want to keep squeezing that money out of you. They got to keep getting you trade in, keep buying, buy. And, you know, they made this phone, what it should have been a long time ago. This is how manufacturers keep making money off of us. And I'll say us because I'm buying too. But they made it thinner. They made the Fold5 thinner. They made it close flat now, which is something simple. It's so strange. They made the hinge smaller, and they gave it a couple of new colors. Google's first attempt, though, is phenomenal. First attempt hardware versus Samsung's first attempt hardware. Yeah, Google did it better. Yeah, they did it better. The hardware is better, a better first attempt on the Pixel Fold than the Fold 5 was. The Fold, I should say. But of these two folks, I don't think one is. I think on the back of the phone, the Fold 5 looks better. I like the camera array. I like how it's set up. This looks like they didn't know what they wanted to do, you know, because again, it's a good looking piece of hardware, but then when you hold it next to something that you think is superior in an area, you'll notice this looks like a big block of metal on the back, and then this looks like a well-designed camera array. You know what I mean? So while this is sleek and sexy, this is sleeker, if that's the word, sleeker, and more sexy. Yeah. But the hardware, I definitely choose the Pixel Fold, for the design, the way it's built, and for like one-hand use and stuff like that, this has great one-hand use on the Pixel on the Fold 5. But the Pixel Fold gives you more display on the inside when in that orientation, and then it also is easier to, you get more screen on the front, which is what I know a lot of Samsung users really want. You can stop. I already called out the hypocrites before. In another video, I called you hypocrites straight up, because that's what you are. Everybody who begged Samsung for a new design and didn't get it, and then Google comes out with this, Apple comes out with theirs. Oh, these designs are ugly. This is better. We're not going to beat that horse up. But if you ever try to mention that again, I'm just going to call you a hypocrite, because that's what you are. You know you want this design on the, if the Samsung Z Fold 5 would have come out with this design, you guys would praise it. This is a better feeling, better looking design overall, with a few changes of the camera. I think this camera bump, now that I have it next to this one, like I said, is ugly. But overall, these feel the same. Like the way they feel in hand, the premiumness of the devices, they're the same, folks. They're just shaped different. Period. They're just shaped different. That's all it is. They're shaped different, but they still feel the same. They got the shiny sides, the stainless steel or whatever it is, and they got the flat hinges. They both fold open, but I definitely like the way the Pixel looks a lot more, and it feels great to use on a regular. And it's also not long in your pocket, so it's a nice stubby feel. But one thing is for certain for both of these, folks, you put a case on, this is why I don't wear cases on devices. If you put a case on either one of these, you're going to feel it in your pocket. So you need to wear some kind of ultra thin case, if you're going to wear these with cases 24 hours a day. That's what I would do. I'll just get the OEM cases for each one and call it a day. I'm in the mix of getting the case for this one, the OEM silicone case for this. I don't know why I haven't done it yet. I really wanted it. I can just get it. I just haven't done it yet. But yeah, this is a discussion that a lot of people want to talk about a lot, and I don't really see the need to discuss it too much anymore. I've pointed out that I like the battery better on the Z Fold 5. I like the cameras better on the Z Fold 5. I think this overall design is much better on the Pixel. The rear of the phones, the Fold 5 looks better. And, the pricing, this is $1,800. This is $2,000. That's a fail for all of them. I mean, every phone that's over $400, I always say, you got to start explaining yourself. It better blow me away. And both of these phones really excite me, and I'm glad I'm able to purchase both of them and use them side by side. But some of you guys are still going to ask, well, which one do you choose? Those questions, it's like you want me to confirm something for you, or you want me to say something. So if I change my mind later, you say, well, you said it's childish. People used to do that all the time, but we're human, folks. We change our minds. And since I'm balling like that, no, I'm just kidding. Since I have both of these, I'm free to use whichever one I want. So I don't have to pick a side. I like both. Period. I like them both. I've given you as fair as I can be. As much as I'm Team Pixel, I'd like to see some improvements on the new Pixel Fold. Get rid of this big ugly bump back here. This is a sexy setup right here. Get rid of this big chunk of metal bar on the back and do something with it, Google. I know it's your first attempt, but you can still improve on it. Samsung, give us this design. We need it. They're going to have to do something different. A lot of people have said, well, Google had the chance to wait and watch everybody else. What's so wrong with that? Samsung took designs from other companies. It's no secret, folks. So while Samsung does have 5 years in and Google's first attempt was so great, they both need improvements. We need a new design. We don't just need color changes. And we need the price to level off to about $1,500 or less for most people to get it. I'm not saying I want that to be the price. I don't enjoy spending a lot of money on devices. But if they really want the masses to buy these devices, they're going to have to drop them down. Some people try to put labels on these devices like, oh, that's for business people. Oh, that's it. Samsung isn't marketing this stuff like that. They want your money. Google isn't marketing these a certain way. They're using all these, Google would rather pay all these athletes and stuff with people who probably would never use their products, and they're just going to go back to an iPhone. They'd rather pay them than to get real, at least with this phone, that's what they chose. They chose to go with the athletes to get their name out there, I guess. And they really wanted to promote this device. Samsung has done it before in the past too. Remember they had Lil Wayne pouring drinks on their phones. It's stupid. But sometimes these companies need to get a bigger look at their products because maybe they felt like this wouldn't get as much attention if they didn't hire athletes to say that they like it. That's ultimately what they're doing. All companies do it. But I feel like Samsung needs a design like this. Google needs to change up this camera bar. Google needs to improve on their battery. Samsung needs to increase their battery size. And we will have a good time with all these devices. So there it is, folks. It's your man, Jay. You wanted to hear it. I can't be any more honest than that. I'm trying to get these out of my light. I have my light shines down. These two battling head to head. It doesn't need a real long, drawn out 45-hour video. You're just gonna pick one. Either you have one of these or you have one of these, and if you have both, you know what it's like to own them both, and you know that they both are great in their own right, but they can all use some kind of improvement. That's just how it is. Anyway, it's your man Jay. If you're gonna make me pick, because I know you guys are still gonna do it, the Pixel Fold definitely is the way I would go for software, but they really need to do something with the camera quality, the video camera quality, and make some changes on the future device. I also really like the flat sides on here. The round sides are nice, sleek, fits this device, but if this device had the flat sides like the Fold5, it would be even better, man. I mean, this is a phenomenal device, and using it with multiple apps, it's just so much more enjoyable. It is so nice, man. So I took my skin off to give you guys this video because you guys kept bugging me. Lots of comments coming in. Oh, we need to know how you feel about this. I got you. I got you back. I sacrificed my beautiful skin. I hope it goes back on too. I sacrificed my beautiful skin that I have from Sophie Guard to do this video. I don't like to wear cases. I will probably get a case for a skin for this one. It's going to be blue, obviously, but yeah, man. I'm just joking around. I couldn't pick just one. I really like both of these, and I'm blessed enough to have them both. So I just rotate between the two. That's it. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. Which one do you choose? Pixel Fold or the Z Fold 5? Take care.